This is Audrey Dwyer, Arts and Entertainment reporter for the Steamboat Pilot and Today. People come to Steamboat for a variety of reasons, but the reasoning for musicians is twofold. Some want the backdrop of a picturesque landscape as a source for inspiration. Others say it's the influx of visitors from all around the world with the potential to garner a following of fans. Perhaps it's the ski town lifestyle, skiing on champagne powder during the day and then playing a few après-ski events in the evening. Or maybe it's a town small enough to allow musical artists to build momentum, gain confidence, and master new skills along the way. Whatever the initial reason, musicians who migrate to Steamboat share a common ambition to make a name for themselves pursuing music.
You could call me a killer, you could say I'm taking every chance.
I think, as with anything, consistency is key, but also growing on your own the whole time is kind of helpful. The way out, the way in, maybe.
It's getting easier by the day, I would say. The struggles that we dealt with at first were pretty tough, but now it's just, we're getting there.
Networking just as much as possible, immediately meeting the best musicians we could, yeah.
Well, you need to be able to play an instrument, sing, have some talent of some sort, obviously. That goes pretty much anywhere. I'd say the difference here is initially, at least for me, and I think this is the case for most people, when you first move to town, you have to do a little bit of networking, to kind of get yourself established and, get to know some people and, and as well as reaching out to venues, to find gigs once you have a group together or a solo act together or whatever.
Well, for me, it was more about playing, playing more out than in, so getting out open mics, starting out, and then, just establishing contacts and making sure you're booking gigs, and, just collaborating with different people too. It's a small community, and actually there's quite a few musicians here, so you kind of put all that together, and next thing you know, you have, a couple options and maybe an out-of-town gig as well, which is good, because then it brings you out and back again.
My wife would say you need a supportive spouse, and I would agree 100%. You do. You need a supportive spouse or partner, because there are a lot of late nights. There are rehearsals at the house, people coming and going, and you're spending money on instruments and equipment. So you do have to have a domestic support system, if you will.
Helps to have friends in low places. There's definitely a lot of people coming here. A lot of musicians have to travel for new audiences, and the audience comes to us in a tourist town like this, so that helps. And there's work in the summer, and there's work in the winter, and you gotta take it when you can get it.
And prove to my daddy a good man I would become, and prepare myself to ride out the storm.
I think the ski town thing helps because of all the tourism, and especially in the winter. Me and Michael got to get a little taste of that last year as a duo, but we're all really looking forward to the economy boost and the entertainment, for being the entertainment for that.
Initially, when we started playing out here, you start to realize how many actual people you're playing for, from California, Florida, Wisconsin, North Carolina. Everywhere you'll meet someone from every part of America, and for them to enjoy your music from all the way over there to all the way over here, it's kind of been actually, like I said, this is the perfect spot.
I think Steamboat has so many options, and people here are more approachable and laid back. It's a good place where the town loves music. So as a musician, going out and getting gigs is really not that hard, because people are willing to give you an opportunity to play at their spot. And then being a a town that sometimes relies on locals to run the or to have the businesses going. If you bring out a local crowd, then they're going to recognize that. So
I don't know if it hasn't really changed all that much in terms of the overall vibe, because I think there was always been a pretty decent music vibe here. The venues have changed. There used to be the Tugboat. There used to be other places. The Ghost Rancher right now isn't doing much, so it's sort of evolved in terms of the live music venues and obviously Schmiggity's. But yeah, there's always been bands and a lot of solo work, a lot of people doing après-ski stuff, and so yeah, I'd just say the venues have changed.
I've always lived in a small town, so I don't know. There's places where you have to pay to play when you're starting out. It's so saturated with other musicians and so many talented people out there, and everybody kind of wants to do this. At least one point in their life, I think everybody sees somebody on stage and says, wow, that would be great. But so there's definitely a lot of people that want to do it, and so it might be easier here. There's just less people, so you don't want to look at it as competition, but there's just less competition.
We're seeing a broader diversity in musical styles. We're seeing rotation of musicians in and out of bands.
I did this, the Steamboat thing where I had like 5 seasonal jobs. But music has always been, a hobby, but it's turned into a professional hobby for me. And so, I'm still playing a lot, but still managing to, work another job to the point where you can even save money and then, purchase better equipment, have more money for the road, that kind of thing. So it's kind of, works both ways.
You have to cut out a lot of things, like vacations, even though maybe I'm always on vacation. Some people think so. But I definitely, in my free time, I play a lot of guitar, and I've always enjoyed it, and that's what I do on stage too, play guitar and enjoy it.
Yeah, you have to meet cool people like Pat Waters from Schmiggity's. You have to meet cool people that are, I guess, have an open ear. Someone that's willing to give you a go. You have to. And whether or not you think it's going to be beneficial, you have to. You have to just stick with it, network.
I'd rather be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a big pond, I guess. Not that we're a big fish by any means, but I think it's perhaps it's easier to garner a local following, some fans. There's definitely some loyalty. The audience, the people, they like certain bands. In fact, I think they like most of the bands in town, which is great. There's tremendous support.
This is a super efficient way of becoming a musician if you ever wanted to be.
Yeah.
Just keep going.